Guess what? It says I'm alive again. Am I alive? I don't know. I was just ranting and raving because of the Epstein files or Epstein files. I don't know how you pronounce his name. I don't really care. I don't know what to call him. People say he was a I say he was a what they refer to as an influencer. He threw parties that everybody wanted to be at. Everybody wanted to go to his island to experience, whether they participated or not, but they were thought to be a participant with what most people consider, a lot of people consider perversions, and other people just look at it as saying strange desires. I didn't see any animals getting fucked or fucking the people down there, so I don't think it's that crazy. It was basically between another human being. Now, if it's homosexuality, I got no problem with that. Just that's not my thing. Don't try to approach me with it because I'll punch you in the face. But if you want to go sit next to me at the bar and kiss the guy in the ear, that's okay. Only one time did I have to complain about that when I was working as a bartender because the bar had the dining room facing the bar was all glassed in and was raised up above us, and you could see the bar very clearly and watch the bartender's actions and whatnot. So we were told not to grab our crotches and stuff like that. But the deal was that this particular night was rather a quiet evening, and it was a Sunday night or Monday night. I forget which. Probably would have been Monday night. Yeah, Monday night was really, really slow. And it was like gay night. And I was the guy that got the gay bar going. Only because I didn't pick on these people. I didn't look at them like they were disgusting. I was male. I was tall. I was good looking. I was straight as an arrow. But they respected that, and I respected them. But I got a complaint coming from the manager because this guy was making out with his boyfriend at the bar right in front of one of the sections where a family was seated with a young child. And the young child had been startled by this two men kissing and sticking their tongues in the ears and everything like that. They were a little outrageous, a little like exhibitionism in the case that it wasn't true. It didn't look like it was real emotion. So I said, okay. I went over and I said, listen, guys, you do me a favor. Chill out, will you please? There's a kid up there and the parents are upset about it, and it's really not something a young girl should see. And I'm trying to explain to them it doesn't make any difference to me but heterosexual or gay, this can't happen with this kid watching it. All right, parents are complaining. Blah, 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 blah. Next thing I know, I'm sitting in an empty bar. Mondays never came back that way. Mondays were a dead night after that. And I explained to the ownership of the bar what happened. And I said, you're the guys that came down and complained to me. I said, I wasn't going to get upset about anything. I was busy making drinks and talking to people. Because not everybody at that bar was gay. One of my girlfriends used to come in on Monday nights. So therefore, it was just, a strange situation. But the way my feelings are with this thing is pedophilia. Now, I'm not sure if I have the definition right. I don't think it just classifies underage sex because I think that's what it's. If you reach a certain age, it's underage sex. You can't have that much disparity between the boy and an underage girl. A 17-year-old can date a 17-year-old. A 17-year-old girl supposedly can't date a 19 or 20-year-old guy, depending on the state you're in. All right. Some states you can get married when you're 13. All right. So, which makes absolutely less sense to me than anything else you could possibly believe. But so with this pedophilia thing, if it's a child and an adult, I have a very serious problem with that. And if you catch the guy with the 12-year-old girl and the guy's 35, 40 years old, I don't care how much she didn't get the experience right away. She hasn't had a lot of experience right away. So my hunch is you take that guy out and you beat the living shit out of him or you shoot him, depending on what state you're in and, the laws and whatnot. You take him out and you shoot him because, as far as I know, talking to watching, I told the story and I'll tell it again. Years ago, a long, long time ago, in New York City, there was a guy, big, fat, heavy-set guy, got caught raping little boys up on the rooftop. Okay, now this is, you know, forced homosexuality, whatever you want to call it. But it was he got caught and they imprisoned him. And it was the second or third time he was arrested. Yeah, it was the third time. They didn't have a three-strike thing down back then. So the third time he was arrested, or second, whatever. It doesn't make any difference. But the point of the matter was that he's in jail for a while, and he's being interviewed, and they asked him, I don't know how this he came to answer some sort of question regarding to his perversion or whatnot, and they went up and they said to him, "Hey, uh, what do you think should happen to you?" He said, "I should never get out of here." He said, "Why?" He said, "Because I can't be cured. This is who I am. This is what I am. This is what we are." He said, you can't cure that. You can't cure homosexuality. You can't cure uh, the desire I have for young boys." I said, I don't know where it came from. She said, "But I know I can't. I've tried all sorts of things to cure me of it. But I'll go by a school or something, and I'll see a young boy, and I get a hard on, and I get excited, and I want to hold him and cuddle him and whatever. I said, "Okay." Now I understand a little bit more why these guys are always in trouble. You know, so no, not there either. Okay, I was looking for my friends. They're not around today. At least they're not showing up here. So YouTube has a lot of trouble with this process. I'm still checking out what I can do to find another provider or something that's not going to cost me an arm and a leg. But anyhow, so pedophilia is a crime. Now, where they were doing it technically isn't a crime because if I understand the thing about the island's a private island, not governed by the laws of any other country. I don't know what their laws were, if they had, who was in charge of the legal aspects of that. But let's just say there weren't any. So, okay, pedophilia isn't a crime. Getting the kids there is a crime. They had to come from someplace. They're charging with kidnapping in the United States. Kidnapping in a lot of states carried the death penalty. Doesn't in most states anymore because most states don't have the death penalty. When they arrest Trump, I want them to bring back the death penalty in whatever state he's charged with his crimes in. But anyhow, what went on down there that everybody's complaining about is, the Clintons were down there and they were having orgies and whatever. Fine. So long as it isn't with underage children that weren't forced to be there. I don't give a shit. If she wanted to get gang banged by the fifth regiment or something like that, that's not my problem. Am I going to try to figure out how the fuck is she doing that? Yeah, I'm going to try that. That's going to strike me as weird or something like that. But even when you guys that watch porn, don't watch gangbangs. That's just disgusting. There was one of the magazines I read back in the day had an article on that, and they said this girl, porn star, set the world record, 629 men in one day, one right after the other. I don't want to see her. The fact is, there's no way that she's coming out of that without something. So, because back when they were doing this stuff, there was bareback was the thing in porn movies. Anyhow, that's the deal. All right. Homosexuality can't be cured. So you conversion people can kiss my ass. It's not proven. It's not completely unproven. It's just something that they take the money from the parents of these children to convince themselves that they're doing the right thing. All right. I don't think that, and the priesthood is one of the ones that's been guilty of pedophilia for years. And you can't take a guy off the street without a thorough psych exam, and you're still not going to find out because he may not know at the time. And actually, you start showing him pictures and stuff like that, and the next thing you know, he is lusting after the altar boys and everything else. I mean, that's what I used to. I don't know when what brought that up one time, and I said that I asked a priest I know if the nuns were there to supply sexual gratification to the priests, and he almost choked on his wine, because they don't have an. It's not what they're there for. It's women that are trying to escape abusive situations themselves. They want out of this, whatever it is that's going on in their lives, and they're trying to get out of it. And they turn to God. Now, I don't believe in that stuff, God and all that. When I say I don't believe in religions, all right, I don't believe that some guy sitting up there can interpret something that's written one way into a different way because he's a priest and he can do. But I remember being in Catholic school for a short period of time before I was attacked by a nun that beaten that they are treated like gods in some places. I mean, we were pretty much ostracized from society because of what happened. Because my mother pulled me out of the school because they weren't going to do anything. Somehow or another, they were blaming me. I don't remember that. This is just stories that I heard, after the fact. All I remember was getting my shirt ripped off. I don't even remember what started it. I can picture the incident happening in my mind, but I can't tell you what started it. Probably my mouth, because I didn't take shit from anybody. Got me in a lot of trouble. Got me beaten up a lot, But I had this habit of not liking to be told to do things, or whatever. And I was always a big fat sloppy looking kid, so I got blamed for a lot of stuff. Easy. They said it was his fault, and that was all they needed to hear. But anyhow, all right. So what this Epstein thing is, the fact that these people were down there and engaging in sexual whatever with another consenting adult is fuck. Look, you're going to say he can't be president, he can't be a congressman, he can't be anything because he likes to get laid with two women. Was he holding a gun at them? He likes anal sex. What's he do? He puts a gun to the back of their head and makes them do it? No. You call it sexual we refer to those things as sexual perversions, and I don't. I do think that pedophilia is a crime that should be punishable by death. That's all. And when you say that underage children, like a 17-year-old girl, well, that's hardly underage anymore. But if she's 16 or 17 years old, that's underage sex. Yeah, you got to do something about it. He's got to be punished in some way. But I also believe that the person that brings that young child into that situation should be shot because the child really isn't making a decision. A 17-year-old can pretty much make a decision who she wants to sleep with. Maybe I'm guessing. I'm not going to get into that because psychologists will tell me there's different opinions. But for the sake of argument, say she's, especially in today's day and age with what they know, I mean, I've seen 12-year-olds that know more about sex than I did when I was 18. You know, but that's not the point. Uh, the point is that these girls aren't walking in and saying, "Hey, can I get a job, fucking old men?" So you got to go find these guys that are bringing the women down there, getting the women down there, and you take them out and you put them against the wall and you shoot them, and you solve the problem. There's an estimation millions of people involved in this uh, underage sex thing. You know, not just thousands, millions. That's why that's how they survive. You know, how these trafficking organizations stay in business so long. All right, I'm done ranting and raving. For those of you that are interested, my wife is in the hospital. No release date. She's being tested for everything. Rather than going back 2 or 3 times a week to the medicine, anywhere from a 30 to a 40-minute taxi cab ride, and it's expensive. The doctor asked her if she would like to stay in the hospital, and she said yes. We'll do all the testing at one. We'll get all the testing done, and then you'll know what the hell is going on. Because her son and I were talking Sunday. I said, when are they going to start some sort of treatment program? All they're doing is testing her. Let's find out what this is. Is it cancer? Is it something else? She came home the other day and said, I have cancer. No, you don't. Not according to the report I read. Never saw the word cancer. A normal life expectancy for your age. So what the fuck's the problem here? Pain. That's the problem. Let's find out what's causing all this stuff. All right, I'm out of here. See you guys tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow's Wednesday, right? Yeah, okay. See you guys tomorrow. Have a good night, and I'll keep you abreast of the situation with my wife. Ciao.